The massive crystalline chamber of the Galactic Council hummed with nervous energy as emergency klaxons echoed through the halls of New Nexus Station. Representatives from 47 civilizations sat in their designated sectors, their various forms of communication creating a cacophony of concern that reverberated off the translucent walls. At the center of the chamber, the holographic display flickered to life, showing a red-coded emergency transmission that had every council member on edge. High Chancellor Vextar of the Thessarian Empire rose from his floating throne. His forearms spread wide in a gesture of urgency that silenced the chamber. Council members, we have received a Priority 1 distress signal from the Sol system. His voice boomed through the universal translators, each word heavy with implications. The hologram shifted, displaying tactical readouts of a massive fleet moving through spaceships of unknown design, their hulls gleaming with technologies that defied current understanding. Ambassador Kreloth of the Synthetic Collective processed the data in milliseconds, her optical rays flashing red with alarm as she transmitted her findings to the Council. Analysis complete. The attacking force possesses energy signatures beyond our current classification systems. Estimated firepower, extinction level threat. A wave of fear rippled through the assembled representatives as the gravity of the situation became clear. Earth was under attack by something far beyond their comprehension. The Zephyrian delegation, known for their military prowess, exchanged worried glances as their battle computers failed to identify the attacking vessel's weaknesses. From the shadows of the human sector, a lone figure remained eerily calm as chaos erupted around them. Commander Marcus Reeves sat motionless in his simple chair, a stark contrast to the elaborate thrones and floating platforms of the other delegates. His weathered face showed no signs of panic, no trace of the fear that consumed every other being in the chamber. The silence from the human representative was more unsettling than the screams of terror from the more emotional species. High Chancellor Vextar's attention turned to the human sector, his compound eyes narrowing as he noticed the disturbing calm. Commander Reeves, your home world is under siege by forces unknown, yet you sit there as if nothing has happened. Do you not comprehend the severity of this situation? The chamber fell silent, waiting for humanity's response to what appeared to be their extinction event. Marcus slowly rose from his chair, his movements deliberate and measured, like a predator finally deciding to reveal itself. When he spoke, his voice carried an authority that seemed to resonate through the very walls of the station. High Chancellor, I believe there has been a misunderstanding about who exactly is under attack. The confused murmurs that followed were quickly silenced as Marcus stepped forward, his presence somehow filling the massive chamber despite his unremarkable appearance. The fleet you're so concerned about. They're not attacking Earth. They're running from it. The words hit the chamber like a shockwave, causing several representatives to recoil in their seats as if physically struck. Chancellor Vextar's forearms trembled as he processed the implications of what the human had just said. That's impossible. Our long-range sensors show a massive fleet approaching your system with clear hostile intent. Marcus allowed himself a small, cold smile that sent chills through the watching delegates. Your sensors are correct about the massive fleet. They're wrong about the hostile intent. Those ships belong to the Devourers of Kethruk, the same species that wiped out the merchant worlds 3 centuries ago. The mention of the Devourers caused several representatives to physically recoil, their memories of that ancient terror still fresh despite the passage of time. The Devourers haven't been seen since they consumed the last of the merchant worlds. If they've returned, Ambassador Kreloth's optical rays flickered with barely contained panic. Marcus nodded slowly, his expression growing darker as he continued his revelation. They returned 6 months ago. Started their advance through the Outer Rim, consuming everything in their path. Estimated time until they reached civilized space, 2 years. The chamber erupted in chaos as representatives began calculating evacuation routes and defense strategies for a threat they had thought long extinct. Through the noise, Marcus's voice cut like a blade, commanding attention through sheer force of presence. That was before they made the mistake of attacking a human colony world. The silence that followed was absolute, as if the station itself had stopped breathing. New Geneva. Population, 4 million humans. The Devourers expected another easy harvest. Marcus's voice carried the weight of loss and something far more dangerous: retribution. The holographic display shifted, showing images of a devastated world. Its cities turned to ash and its skies darkened with orbital debris. They were wrong. The images changed again, showing something that defied explanation: devour ships, their massive hulls breached and broken, floating dead in space around the planet. Within 72 hours of the initial attack, New Geneva's defensive fleet had eliminated the entire Devourer scouting force. No survivors. Chancellor Vixtar's voice cracked as he spoke, his certainty about the galaxy's power structures crumbling before his eyes. That's impossible. The Devourer's technology was centuries ahead of anything in known space. How could humans what? Marcus interrupted, his tone carrying a dangerous edge that made several delegates instinctively reach for their weapons. How could we defend ourselves? How could we win? How could we turn their own hunting tactics against them? The display showed new images: human vessels moving through space with a grace and power that belonged in nightmares rather than reality. You've all been operating under a fatal assumption about humanity, Marcus continued, beginning to pace around the center of the chamber like a general addressing his troops. You thought we were the galaxy's newest children, stumbling around with primitive technology and simple minds. With each word, the human representative seemed to grow more imposing, his presence filling the space with an authority that made ancient civilizations feel small. You forgot to ask the most important question: where did we come from? The holographic display shifted once more, showing images of Earth that none of the delegates had ever seen before. Not the peaceful blue world of humanity's public records, but a fortress world bristling with defenses that made their greatest military installations look like children's toys. Earth isn't our home world. Earth is our prison. The revelation hit the chamber like a physical blow, causing several representatives to stagger as their understanding of reality crumbled. For 10,000 years, humanity has been contained on that single world by technologies you can't even imagine. Sleeping weapons that make your greatest fleets look like toys. Ancient memories stirred in some of the older civilizations, half-forgotten legends of a warrior race that had once terrorized the galaxy. The Builders. They didn't vanish, whispered Elder Murthic of the Stone Circles, his crystalline form resonating with harmonics of absolute terror. Marcus nodded, his smile growing colder as recognition dawned in the chamber. The Builders didn't vanish. They locked us away because we were becoming too dangerous, even for them. The implications crashed over the assembled delegates like a tsunami of dread. The Devourers made a critical error when they attacked New Geneva. They didn't just kill 4 million humans, they triggered an automated response system. The display showed Earth's surface, but now the delegates could see what had been hidden from them for millennia. Massive structures were rising from beneath the oceans, their surfaces gleaming with technologies that predated known civilization. The containment protocol has been deactivated. For the first time in 10,000 years, humanity is free to remember what we really are. Ancient weapon platforms emerged from their slumber, their targeting systems locking onto every ship in the galaxy with casual efficiency. The Devourers are running because they recognize us now. They remember the last time they faced humanity in open war. The display showed the fleeing Devourer fleet, their massive ships burning as they desperately tried to escape something far more terrifying than their own hunger. They're not running to invade anything. They're running to warn their kind that the humans are awake. Marcus turned to face Chancellor Vixtar directly, his expression holding the weight of impending doom. The question you should be asking isn't whether Earth will survive this encounter. The question is whether any of you will survive what comes next. Fleets began emerging from hidden bases throughout human space, their designs incorporating technologies that shouldn't have existed. Every human colony, every human ship, every human citizen has been carrying dormant protocols for 10 millennia. They're all activating. Now, the tactical display showed the true scope of human presence in the galaxy, not the modest collection of worlds and official records, but a vast network of hidden installations and sleeping fleets. You see, the galaxy made a mistake when it welcomed humanity into the Council. You should have asked why the Builders felt the need to lock us away. Ancient defense grids came online across human space, their energy signatures dwarfing anything in the combined fleets of the Galactic Council. We weren't imprisoned because we were primitive. We were imprisoned because we were becoming gods of war. The chamber's atmosphere grew heavy with dread as the full implications of humanity's return became clear. The Devourers conquered 1,000 worlds in their first campaign. We conquered 10,000 in ours. Historical records that had been classified for millennia began displaying around the chamber, showing the true scope of humanity's ancient empire. Your predecessors didn't defeat us in battle. They couldn't. They had to resort to trickery, poisoning our leaders during peace negotiations, and activating builder technology to contain us. The surviving members of those ancient civilizations watched in horror as their ancestors' greatest shame was laid bare. For 10,000 years, we've been patient. We've played the role of the peaceful newcomers, learning your weaknesses, mapping your defenses, preparing for the day we would be free. Human ships began appearing on the edge of every major system in the galaxy, their presence sudden and impossible to explain. That day has come. Marcus gestured to the display, where the Devourer fleet was being systematically hunted down by human vessels that moved like living shadows through space. The Devourers served their purpose. They gave us the excuse we needed to break free of our constraints. Ancient weapon systems throughout the galaxy began recognizing their true masters. Their artificial intelligence is awakening after millennia of slumber. Every piece of builder technology in this galaxy has been waiting for our return. They're remembering their loyalty now. The station's own defense systems flickered, their displays showing human override codes taking control of weapons that could destroy entire fleets. You're all feeling it now, aren't you? The growing realization that this meeting was never about protecting Earth from the Devourers. Marcus began walking toward the chamber's exit, his mission complete. This meeting was about giving you all one last chance to decide how you want to be remembered when the New Age begins. The delegates sat in stunned silence as the true scope of their situation became clear. You can choose to kneel before humanity's return to power, accepting your place in the new order we're about to establish. The holographic display showed human fleets arriving at every major council world, their intentions unmistakably clear. Or you can choose to resist, and be remembered as the civilizations that tried to stand against the inevitable. Marcus paused at the chamber's entrance, turning back to deliver his final message. The Devourers will be extinct within the week. Their technology will be absorbed into our fleets, their worlds will be claimed by our colonies. The assembled representatives could only watch in horror as their understanding of galactic power structures collapsed entirely. When that task is complete, we'll return our attention to the galaxy that betrayed us. To the civilizations that celebrated our imprisonment. His words carried the weight of absolute certainty, the promise of a reckoning that had been 10,000 years in the making. The real war, the war that will reshape this entire galaxy, begins the moment the last Devourer ship falls. Marcus stepped through the chamber's exit, leaving behind a council paralyzed by the magnitude of what they now faced. Outside the station's windows, the stars themselves seemed to dim as human fleets emerged from hidden dimensions, their numbers beyond counting. The age of the Galactic Council was ending. The age of humanity's dominion had begun. In the depths of space, ancient drums of war began to beat once more. Their rhythm promising that the galaxy would never again know peace. The sleeping giant had awakened, and its dreams were filled with fire and conquest. The end.